So to continue, I was just leading you into what I wanted to share with you next, which is from Jay Shetty. And Jay Shetty is the gentleman who was a monk and now an entrepreneur, has a wonderful book, and two books actually, and also has a great podcast. So as I was walking the other day, I was listening to him and I was curious at how much it was relating to our willpower. And so I wanted to share these insights with you. So it all boils down to intentions. What do we really want? What drives us? Why we want what we want? If our intentions are about material gains rather than about service, this can be a lethal plan, as he says. It doesn't mean that we can't have material things and be motivated to some level of that, but also if we can find a way to connect ourselves to something greater than just ourselves, it brings us to a point of peace. And his message was that we are in search of peace and calm more than anything else. And pleasure is that short-term component. So we're going to talk about whether we're planting seeds and whether we're weeding. And so that's why I wanted to show you that other slide for a moment, but bring you back to this place of our pleasure versus our purpose and peace. So when we think about willpower, we talked about having it be a heart's desire as well. And that's kind of what he's really talking about here. So the top four motivators are fear, desire for self-gratification, which could be wealth, success, pleasure, any examples of that. Duty, so our desire to do things for the right reasons and to do them with gratitude. And love, living life intentionally. Of these four, fear lasts for the shortest period of time. It's least effective. So when you're thinking about depriving yourself of something like no chocolate or whatever you're applying this message of willpower to, or if you're changing that word from depriving to forcing yourself to do something because you've made a commitment, but it didn't come from your heart, that's kind of about fear. And so fear is your least strong motivator and your shortest lived. Next is your desire for self-gratification. So that chocolate in your mouth or the feeling that you have after you have taken a walk, or as Wayne Dyer talked about it, always reaching for more. And then when you get more, you want more. So that kind of speaks to our things mentality, more. Doesn't necessarily make us happier. In fact, it probably burdens us. So less often will lead us into more happiness, more peace. And so we have to have the willpower to just say, I don't need another thing. Let me look at what I really want. And what we're looking for most often is that peace and that calm. So the next one is duty. So duty is a higher level of motivation, and it comes from, if it comes from our core values, it's going to be connected to our desire and our purpose. But if that duty comes from obligation that isn't from our heart, then it's going to be harder for us to manage. So coming into a space of having the desire to do the right thing and to do it with gratitude for the giving, for the service, then this makes our success longer term. So purpose and meaning are what lead us to true contentment. So if you can hook your duty, your desire to serve and to do it with gratitude, then you bring meaning into your life and it gives you contentment, which of course then is peace and calm. So love living life intentionally. That is what will carry you furthest. The sense of abundance, the sense of joy, the sense of giving is greater than the sense of receiving. So when you can connect these links and work with your purpose and be clear about who you are and why you're going through these steps on your journey, it can bring you to peace and calm, which also may lead you into a closer walk with your higher purpose, and we call that enlightenment. So are we planting seeds, and what are those seeds bringing about in life, and are we watering them, are we weeding, that kind of thing. So trees grow and bear fruit, and so if you picture this, you are the tree, and you want to nurture yourself. So the plant, the nurturing, the pruning, the weeding. So living in your intentions, it helps you to be that strong tree and to bear fruit, beautiful fruit. So what are we accountable to our tree? Can we do more to be accountable to ourselves for the right purpose and reason, the higher self, if you will? So do you need a partner in that? Can you create a contract with yourself? Or can you build in a reward system? So by that, I mean, some of us, when we give our word to somebody else, it helps us to be really accountable. Maybe it's a walking partner. Maybe it's somebody that you share recipes with to reduce your sugar intake. Rewarding ourselves. You know, when we were kids, maybe we worked for an allowance, or maybe we worked for that new toy, or I remember when I had to go to the dentist, my mother would always reward me with a small token or gift that I could pick out. And so we need to take that and maybe reward ourselves. If you're working on your willpower for chocolate, maybe one square of chocolate that is more cacao than the sugary substance, maybe that it helps you to accomplish not having chocolate all week, or whatever it might be. Maybe if you're deciding that you're going to walk every day, you're good to yourself in that you walk 20 minutes first, and then 25 minutes, and then you bring your time up or your distance up to what you want it to be. But at the end of that walk, you reward yourself with maybe 10 minutes of reading your favorite book, or sitting out in the sun with your feet up after your walk. Maybe it's a bath. So figuring out what you can do to reward yourself is a healthy way to manage your willpower. So trust. How can we trust ourselves, our word, and our promise? Can we create a practice of praise and love rather than judgment and negativity, and get past our tries? So if you are a best friend to somebody, how would you praise them? Maybe if you can imagine that, or write that down, or give yourself a mantra, or something that you give yourself some grace, you give yourself some praise. So treat yourself like your own best friend. How do your values and beliefs support you, or do they undermine you? Where does that trust level come in? So I'm going to conclude this at this point, and we will pick this up next session. But I just want you to really be thinking about your desire, your values, your higher self, and your progression. So as we bring this to a conclusion, I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you'll talk to yourself like your own best friend, and tune in for our next session, and we will draw this conversation about willpower up to a natural conclusion.